fuck? Time flies when you're having way too much fun.
Come on. Waiting for the little go live button to work. Hey, there we go.
You know, like, YouTube is very interesting. It's like you never know when you go live, but when you go live, you are live. Like, you're live.
We're actually live now.
Yeah.
Well, it was broken earlier. I uploaded videos and they didn't show up for like an hour.
Oh.
I thought I did something wrong. You're trying to figure it out. YouTube was having some technical difficulties. You know how long it took to load this page? I was worried it wasn't going to work.
Oh, boy.
I'm just making excuses why we started late. So welcome to How They Got Hacked, episode 14. Yeah. Tom Lawrence.
Xavier D. Johnson.
Maurice Nash.
All right. And we are officially live with 16 people jumping on here. We love all y'all.
Hey, Jordan.
So we're excited. I used some of that
Jason.
previous beer money to buy more beer.
There
I got
you
some
go.
if you want some.
I will actually go offset for beer at some point.
Okay.
I
got the opener here.
I'm on my lemon tea from Arizona.
I do have some whiskey as well. I just felt as though the shop needed that today. I had to clear my throat.
Whiskey's always good for the lifestyle in general. It's just good for you in general.
Yeah, it's
really American
relaxes.
vodka.
It's American vodka.
It's American vodka.
For sure.
Hello from Australia, all Skippy. Check out Clocking for me. They're from Australia. Really cool company. What were you going to say?
No, I was going to say, actually, last week I had said that I worked with a client that day and I actually wanted to do things right and set things up secure. And it's a trend. I got another client that wants to do it right.
Oh, boy.
I know.
What?
Nice.
Yeah. What? Yeah. Oh, is this a troll?
When it's related, and it's actually related to a news article that you posted about a theater company.
Oh yeah,
and
MJR.
I partly wonder if they read this. It wasn't MJR that contacted me, but it is a theater company. I'll at least say that they want to do kind of reset up their firewalls and make sure all their network is segmented and egress filtering and all kinds of good stuff.
Look at that.
People are starting to care, or at least the people that care are calling me. So,
right, there you go.
Which is fine too.
Yeah, no, we take that.
Yeah.
We take people that care.
Security wins. That's
all the time.
Yes.
We have to make security great. Not
security.
even again. Just like
it's never been great.
You just gotta make it great.
It hasn't been great since we started plugging. The more computers we plug in, the more it just gets disheveled and broken.
Yeah.
So now with the Internet of Things, it's going to be even more fun.
I mean, we have no path off of the internet either. I think that's the most scary thing that I've learned in the recent years. That like, if we wanted to turn the internet off, we couldn't.
Can't turn it off.
You just can't turn it off.
It's too integrated now. I mean, it's a part of life.
Literal matrix.
Yeah, we're really, really consumed by it now. That is for sure.
You know how you feel when you go over to somebody's house and they don't have Wi-Fi? You're like, you don't have Wi-Fi.
Listen, I have Verizon, so I don't even think twice. I'm just like, who wants to use my hotspot? I wish Verizon would give us money because that's worth at least like what, $1 million. Who wants to use my hotspot?
I know.
Now, if you see that in ads, if you see who wants to use my hotspot in ads, we're going to have to go find the iDoor and enumerate their entire user database. Speaking of user database, somebody got their database entirely encrypted and still hasn't unlocked it, and they're in Maryland, and their name starts with a B, and it's not Boston.
It's not Boston. I got all the Bostons out before I started. And we're going to see. Let's see if this works. Oh,
Was
good.
it that one? Yes.
Did you see this? So, as if there's not enough Baltimore news.
Right.
Wow.
So this is a kind of sidetrack. Apparently, there's a Twitter account, and they were taunting the city of Baltimore, the mayor, and tagging them in a few tweets. And this is where it gets interesting. This is one of the points I've made before when companies say, "Oh no, we just got crypto lockered. No personal information was changed." Well, one, it was encrypted, therefore it definitely was changed. Bad wording.
Yes.
And this. The hackers wanted to prove they had personal information, so they had faxes with medical records and all kinds of legal documents from within the city proving that they were within the city's system. So they didn't just like send them something that automatically encrypted. This was a step further with a series of taunts and a series of, hey, we got your stuff. And by the way, they also highlight the fact that, there was a link about the $18 million that it's going to cost them, but the ransom was only $76,000. I mean,
right? Like
it's so low. Just pay
them. Like, what are we waiting for? Why is that not just who's not smart there? Like, who just doesn't walk up and say, "Pay"?
I get it, and I'm a principled person myself, but there comes a point when $18 million, And by the way, the mayor being the principled person is doing it on the tax dollars back. So
Right.
I'm going to stand by my principles, taxpayers. It's going to cost you $18 million on my principles, but I'm standing by them. This is not coming out of actually my pocket. It's coming out of your pockets.
Your pocket.
See,
That should have
and
been put
this
to a
is
vote.
Become so political.
Yes.
They're like, like somebody call the World Bank and let's just get like some money and get out of this jam, right? Like let's just not let's not have this problem of politicians not wanting to spend the people's money.
Yeah.
That's the most crock of
I'm trying to see. I thought we had the note, but the other one were being 18 million to fix it. But either way, it just
Oh yeah, I thought I saw that, but
yeah.
But I also think they didn't believe the severity of this.
No.
I thought they were just like, this is another computer game that someone is playing. It's going to be gone soon. No,
Yeah.
people
And-
are serious.
And they did point out that I think they're up to about 1/3 of the computers back up and running.
Okay.
there you go.
So we at least have another week or two to talk about Baltimore.
Here you go.
Of me to get the name wrong and everything else. Yeah, so that's always fun.
Poor Baltimore. I hate picking on them, but you know who else I like? You know who I like picking on?
Huh.
Windows.
Yes.
Yes.
Are we talking about Sandbox Escaper again?
No. I wasn't talking about Sandbox Escaper, but now I am. That's a whole nother
But
thing.
shout out to Little Sandbox Escape.
Oh my God, Sandbox Escaper. Let's just jump right into it. It's sad.
It's sad. Hacker discloses second zero-day bypass for Windows EOP flaw.
Listen, can I just have one so I could pass the fucking OSCP? Like, just give me one. Just give me one.
These 0 days are worth a
Sandbox.
lot of money. I
Right.
mean, the fact that they're being dropped for free and posted on GitHub
I'll
was.
take them.
I mean,
I
I'll take
read this person's post, and it seems like they have a personal vendetta against something.
America. The entire Western civilization.
you know what though? I think that happens. I had learned, unfortunately, I can't remember one of the video game players, but he had sold his game and made a lot of money. And now that he's wealthy, he went from being a nice guy to being a crazy tinfoil hat, believes everyone's out to get him, and now hates all everyone in the world. And I was reading a story, and I'm sure I remember it was a while ago, but I'm like, wow, it's kind of sad. And the problem is they just went down the rabbit hole, and maybe that's what who this person was before, is they have some anxiety, depression, whatever, maybe mental challenges they face, and then they maybe sold a couple of these 0 days. They got enough money to fit their means, and now they're crazy. Look at the person who, if you listen to the latest Dark Knight Diaries, dug in the hole. Same thing. What happens? It's not like they really intended, but they really got scared about a nuclear holocaust and built a bunker. In the latest episode of Dark Knight Diaries, had tons and tons of money.
Sometimes you're too smart. This is literally I feel like Sandbox Escaper could be a case of too smart. That dude on Dark Knight Diaries was literally just a case of too smart. Someone who caught a challenge, caught the bug to solve the challenge, discovered a pyrotechnic kind of...
And then just couldn't stop obsessing with
Couldn't
it.
stop.
To me, it sounded like someone wasn't getting their just due credit, and so they took action.
They apparently, yeah. Well, part of it too, and Tavis Ormandy has had this problem before. As much credit as Tavis Ormandy has as the head of Google's Project Zero Research, he has literally had trouble and called people out on Twitter because they wouldn't accept his 0 day. They're like, this is a major vulnerability. Like, I'm calling you the CEO type thing. Like, I'm ringing the alarm bell. Oh, no, it's not that bad. He's like, no, it's that bad. And they were being dismissive. And here's a person who didn't just start doing this. Tavis Ormandy has a amazing track record. It is pretty well, from anything I can tell, put together. But I can see he's faced challenges in getting these exploits noted, and like, you guys have to fix this. And they're like, your proof of concept wasn't clear, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, it was very clear. Like, I know what I'm doing. They didn't put me at Project Zero for no reason.
Yeah, I can say, sometimes working internally in security, working with external researchers on things can be difficult, right? Like, there's a challenge. I think that Bug Crowd and Hacker One and all those dudes do a great job of managing it, but it's still rough, right? Like, every question still just gets pushed through a manager for you to kind of like vet over and understand. And I just think that I think that there's more room for us to grow as researchers in our communication with internal and how to get people to respond better to potential risk and being able to demonstrate potential risk, right? Like, I think there's something about being effective in your reporting and in your demonstration of potency when it comes to a particular bug.
Well, and it's I had a conversation yesterday. I was out on a project, and we were talking about, we both this person was in IT for we were doing some supplemental work for it. We talked about sales, and the reason sales came up even as a topic is because I used to be head of IT for a transportation provider, and it's a sales pitch to get the C-level people to why they should fund my idea, why they should fund my project, why we should get something done. So there's some of that even with the vulnerability. It's like you kind of have to pitch to them. This is why you should be concerned. It's not an edge case. It's this. So there's still some of those challenges, and like you said, places like HackerOne, they're making it a process, and that's what it really needs. Is because this is such a new thing. We don't have processors for this. It's not like 100 years ago. Hey, that wagon wheel is going to fall off, and really, it looks pretty tough.
Yeah,
We're nailing it. Like it was very different back then. Now we're talking about we have become a magnitude more complicated, and we're talking about flaws in products that have been released, and getting that information out there. And only a few years ago, and even today, there's the risk of you getting arrested of the fact that you talked about it. So you ride a line,
or that you ever went to do it. Right? Like some of these things, like to even be able to pull off, you have to have such intimate knowledge of the system, and that means that you had to take certain actions to be able to get that privilege, right? Like you're not supposed to reverse engineer Microsoft software because it's closed source. It's not.
How did you know this?
Right?
How did you know that? So
that's against the law.
Yeah. So there's a lot of aspects that we're still kind of working through. We're in the earliest days of this. I see it getting better, but it's going to take time, unfortunately. Which no one is patient. These 0 days are happening constantly. There's always a new hack. There's always a new thing with a big hole in it. Someone mentioned the Google outage.
Oh boy.
So there's a debrief on that. Google did a post-mortem, and if you dig into it, they just said basically a configuration change went wrong, and that's what caused the outage at Google. It wasn't even an attack, it's just a configuration change.
Sometimes you just unplug the cable, and then you plug the cable back up and wait for the thing to come back on and propagate.
Yeah, I didn't get into the details because it didn't directly affect me, but it was like one of those, it propagated wrong when we did this configuration change. And you got to think about companies that work at the scale of them. It was fascinating, like when I spent some time at Microsoft talking to the people who are the designers of the Azure Data Center. They don't have blueprints for things because they are the blueprint. They're like, there's not, I like what I was talking in one of the interviews, I see, what gets you going, because some of those type of questions, and he goes, I have 2 data centers you can land a 747 in. There's not a blueprint to how to build this, and that's what's exciting. He goes, I am the cutting edge. Like we are coming up with in rooms, how are we going to do this? Because no one's ever done it at this scale. No one's ever had this many servers before. So
I want to do that kind of stuff. I like that.
Yeah. Well, and that's why there's even the open source consortium where regarding data centers, they've become more open in the hardware because the switching, the TOR, which is the top of rack servers, so that's the switches that get the data from one rack to another. Yeah, cool, gigabit. Yeah, cool, 10 gigabit. They're going, how do you route and switch 100, 200, 400 gigabits? Because that's what they're doing. So they're getting down to having to design some of their own equipment for this. And so it's really interesting. So it's really challenging being the size of Google. Think about the number of logins a day Google has. And if I told you to write an application that, several million people a minute are going to log into, you're like, well, do I start with MySQL? I mean, just... How much memory does it need?
No, you don't start with MySQL. Just to be clear.
Don't start with
I don't know. That'd be a very interesting database problem for sure to solve.
Yeah, and they are solving it, but of course sometimes mistakes are made, and you can't even hold a blueprint. Well, you should have done it this way. There's not a blueprint for that because they're inventing it as they go along because no one has that many users except for Facebook, but they have a different challenge. So these outages, they're fascinating. I'm happy we're getting these better, postmortems. There's the famous one from 2016 from AWS where a playbook went wrong.
Basically, the cable got unplugged from the server.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So they are always interesting. You can find there is a postmortem. There's probably more information if you dug around because undoubtedly people who lost access to some of the cloud, like people who buy enterprise services from Google, have a better debrief sent to them, which always ends up somewhere posted on Reddit. Some email like, here's exactly what happened for those of you that want the technical details. So it wasn't an attack or anything. It was a whoops, it wasn't supposed to go there.
How they fucked up.
How they fucked up.
Tripped over the cable.
Whoops. Vacuuming inside the data center. Whoops. Plug that back up. Plugged it into the wrong port.
Yeah. So what else we got in the news over here?
Oh boy, a lot.
There's a lot. So
Back to Windows.
back to Windows.
My favorite people to pick on.
Brute force botnet taking over 1.5 million RDP servers worldwide.
The kitties.
Yes.
The kitties.
Yes.
What are they They're deeming this one a really cool name.
It does. It's got the
It's got what, gold
brute.
There you go.
The gold
brute.
brute. You can't have a good hack without a good
You
exploit.
gotta have a good name.
They're just hammering away at bad passwords, brutable RDP, and just hammering away. And they got all the step-by-steps they go in there. So after successfully brute forcing an RDP server, the attacker installs a Java-based gold brute botnet malware on the machine. To control the affected machines, the attacker utilizes a fixed, centralized command and control server that exchanges commands and data over AES encrypted WebSockets.
Right.
Steps 3 and 4, each infected machine receives the first to scan report back a list of at least 80 publicly accessible new RDP servers that can be brute forced. Steps 5 and 6 are attacker assigns each infected machine a unique username and password. That's nice of them. Keeping that OPSEC security here with your infected machines as a combination of his tasks, forcing them into attempt against a list of RDP targets the infected system continually receives from the command and control server. And on successful attempts, the infected machine reports back its login credentials, and the process starts over.
Oh, boy.
Yeah, what they're doing is once they have these RDP machines, they then find more, and it's a very automated system.
This is like, I got friends, I got associates on the internet. That's like this low-hanging, easy peasy, come on, can security be great?
Yeah.
This is not hard. Default creds is not funny. It's not cute anymore. Stop. No more admin. No more admin password. I'm looking at you, who's got the 200, 100 passcode on their phone, because that's like top 10 most. What's the number one? 0000. Come on, guys. Like, let's just be better.
I was when in the project I was on. I had to spin up a server in their ESXi instance to get their controller set up for the stuff we were deploying, and I just set the password to password. I said I was turning it all over to them, so I was like, it's password 123. Go ahead and change it. He goes, I'll change it later. I said, I'm logged in now. Before I leave, I'm going to change it to something random, or you're going to tell me what to change it to. I said, but I don't feel comfortable. I said, don't take it the wrong way, but I don't like the idea that it's still password 123. I said I did it because I was loading it, and I want to hand it over to you, so I don't need the password I'm in, because it was something I was setting up and handing over to them to manage, so I don't even need to know the password. I'm like, here's the keyboard, type in whatever you want, and let them take it over. But I'm very pushed at when we do setups for clients that I'm not going to leave some stupid password. Even if it was internal to our network, is not public facing. Still, I set a. He had a reasonable password that he had me type it, whatever. Mostly forgotten it. So,
come on,
but
guys.
yeah,
Like, how do we get caught like this? You know how embarrassed I would be if somebody used password 123 as the password. That's my password, admin password 123, and now they're in. Why didn't I just?
At the very least, do
at
this.
least do some shit like this, man. Come on.
We do this all the time. This is our at least something better than nothing.
Right.
It produces kid-friendly pronounceable passwords.
I've never seen this before.
Yeah. Oh god, we love this. This is one of our things we send if we have
These
to
are
send.
not bad.
It's
They're
not
actually
bad
not.
though.
These are not bad at all.
And yeah, they're kind of cool. So Dino Pass is
capitalizations, special characters,
special characters.
numbers,
We
phrases.
do this when we have to do password resets. This is our go-to for our clients for password resets.
Now every attacker out there, right, is gonna go here, plug into the API, add this to the list, enumerate Dino Pass. Now we just have the bots that go out and
It's got a pretty good amount on here. We get a kick out of it.
it's pretty cool.
Yeah, I prefer LastPass to generate a really long, high entropy one. That's generally my go-to. But for people, I just need to do something. And of course, it's always force change. Here's your password. Change it now while we're on the phone. Change it now before the support call's over. So it's a very quick change to it, to something that works better for them. But yeah, the default credentials are a real huge problem when it comes to that. So
Passwords are just. Can we get away from passwords? Can you give me a thing that I get implanted inside my ear, really close to my brain, where I could just think about my account and it unlocks?
Yeah.
Right? I want it, but
Will this NFC chip, install one in your hand?
see now people are just gonna cut your hand off.
Well, they
At
don't
least
know
the dude
it's
had
there.
to saw my head off.
Yeah,
though.
but they don't. That's what I would say. You don't tell them.
Oof! But now you just told them, like,
Yeah, but if you put that in there, or wherever you have it on your body,
right there you go.
They're gonna know, like, every time he goes to the door, he never pulls out a key and not a card or anything.
It's a mystery, man. How's that work?
Why is he always zipping his pants after he comes in the room?
Hold on, let me unlock my phone.
That's hilarious.
Someone said LastPass, didn't they have a little problem some time ago?
They always have. Everybody has problems.
There is problems. Matter of fact, you can read about the Tavis Normandy problem. He's the one that broke the problem with LastPass, but the problem was really, one, good news, not default setup.
Right.
It took a series of special circumstances, and you have to change defaults, which, by the way, no one changes defaults. And there was a way that a website could do it. And LastPass, anytime they've had even a suggested flaw, it has been less than 24 hours for
Gotcha.
every fix. They have been amazing about that.
You're a security company.
I mean, I would hope so. They're dealing with people's passwords.
Yeah, if you want, and they're hanging onto it in an encrypted form, so they never know the passwords. So I would like to see if he could ever do an interview. But you familiar with the name LeVar Ledison? He made LavaBit.
Nope.
So if you're not familiar, you will be in about 2 seconds. Snowden. That's where all Snowden's email was hosted.
Oh,
And
yeah. Okay, I did.
So now it's from a long time ago. I think he's still facing cases that are ongoing with the government over this. But the kind of history behind that is, I don't know if they were friends, but I know that the writer of LastPass said, "Wow, that's a problem." He had the keys, so I want to develop a product where I don't have the keys, because if I don't have the keys, the government can never compel me to give it up because I don't have it to give. Yeah. And that was the problem with when Snowden had all those emails in there. LavaBit had a really interesting problem they faced, and LeVar did a really interesting thing that pissed the government off greatly. That's why he's in a lot of problems. He always said, "I'll never run an insecure service." So when they said, "Hand over the keys, we want to be able to decrypt emails," he said, "Okay, here you go," and then he turned all the servers off. And everyone's like, "Oh my God, it's down, it's down, it's down." And he was under a gag order not to tell that he turned over the keys. So he tweeted or stated publicly, "I don't run an insecure server." "But why are you down?" "Because I don't run an insecure server." Wink and a nod. Come on, guys. I can't say why. But put two and goddamn two together. I can't tell you why. Yeah. Think about why I would shut down my very popular encrypted email service.
Right. I unplugged it. I unplugged it, like literally, like.
And it turned out it's a little bit more complicated because the government says, "Turn it on." He says, "No, you can't force me to run my business."
Right.
And they said, "Well, yeah, we can. It's an ongoing investigation." We said not to talk about it. He goes, "I didn't. I turned it off."
There you go.
So there's a lot of. He's got some interviews and things like that. It's really interesting. But that's one of the inspirations for LastPass and others.
With the government is scary. That's big business.
Big business.
You gotta be able to walk that walk forever now.
So that's one of the things that the companies like LastPass, I've seen someone mentioned 1Password. There's a few of them out there. Bitwarden is the open source one. None of them have access to your password. They encrypt it and they decrypt it on your computer. So unless they had your password, which they don't, the master password and a really clever hash algorithm that's been code validated is what goes into it. And that's a simple answer. If we don't have it, we can't be compelled by the government. And if our servers get hacked, it doesn't matter, so to speak. They wouldn't get the encrypted blob, and provided you had a good high entropy password, that's it. Good luck.
Don't let you have a YubiKey set up.
Yeah, and it supports YubiKey, and it supports other MFA things like standard TOTP authentication through Google Authenticator, YubiKey,
or to LastPass Authenticator.
Which that's at least a problem I have because that's putting all my eggs in one basket. That's the only reason I don't use that. So.
Or you can be like me
and just remember your passwords. Yeah, rememberable password is a hackable password.
Yeah,
it's not rememberable.
That's tongue in cheek. I don't know.
One day,
at that note, I need to have a beer. And we're gonna promote not having password management.
No, just me. This is just me personally.
And one day we'll have this cool episode called "How Mo Got Hacked."
There you go.
Maybe
someone found him more memorable.
I'm not laughing at that shit.
No.
Not me, please.
The government could compel a game to the extension. Not exactly. It's a lot more complicated than that. They can't. That is a theory that they could do that. It would be very, very difficult for it to to compel a change to the extension. Let's say that to make the extension not work the way it does is a total rewrite, a total update to it, and would absolutely be picked apart incredibly by security researchers who are watching this. There's not an easy way to do it under there. Now, what there is a way to do is, I will say this, and I'm going to, actually I think I can demo this. So if I open up my vault, there is a hack that's really interesting. I'm already logged in, so I can't. So I can't really show it here, so I'm going to close it. But the hack is someone found out that it's a spoofing method. Because it opens up within a browser window and you're entering it within a browser window, someone says, I could just make a website that looks like your LastPass login in the browser window if you sign in that way. So that is a methodology to get your password. So if I have hijacked control over your computer, because you're targeted because of government agency, whatever, and I somehow you're not going to log in through the app by clicking a little app icon and typing your password up there. You're going to type it into a browser window because that's one of the options you have. It opens up a new window, and that new window wasn't really a new window. You're not looking at the URL at the top. You're not paying attention. So someone's directing you to a website. That is a methodology that would work, provided you also didn't have 2FA. But if you did have 2FA, they could proxy it, with your 2FA and then log in through the other side, be collecting a credential somewhere. It's a targeted attack. It's not a drive-by. It's not an easy, simple methodology. It's
unless
really,
you hack BGP and then
it would be
done. Case over.
Yeah,
maybe.
Well, there's a lot that goes into it because there's key signing wouldn't work for the actual LastPass.
That's what would happen.
Because it is, yeah. Because like I said, the better way to do it is just hijack the person's computer, them not see the URL.
Phishing.
Yeah.
Phishing. Simple old phishing.
Simple phishing at times. So there is methodologies on there, but they're really highly focused and targeted and things like that. They're not really easy. So I found a sticker for more. Do I just send it to Lawrence Systems offices? Yeah, you can send any stickers to our offices here. Our address is on our website, lawrencesystems.com, and just put for Mo or whatever in the box, and we'll give it to them.
Yeah. There you go.
Simple as that.
More stickers. Stickers, Mo. Sheesh.
But
stickers out.
But
someone says LeVar deleted the data. Not just turned it off. Yeah. I don't know
That's
that
no, he turned it off.
That would be obstruction.
He turned it off.
I think he turned it off, but didn't delete the data.
No, he couldn't delete. That would have been
right. Deleting the data would be destruction. So I'm almost positive, and it's been this goes back. What Snowden was 2012.
No, I just saw recently. I saw a small documentary where it discussed it. He turned it off. He completely.
Yeah, Snowden was 2012, right? Or was that Chelsea Manning?
No.
That was Snowden.
Yeah. They all happened around the same time.
Yeah, it happened in 2 years within each other, right?
Yeah, so
it was a really interesting time before Obama, wasn't it? He was just like,
I got a lot to deal with right now. Crap.
You're right.
Oh, one thing I wanted to say about a stickerless laptop.
A stickerless laptop.
Stickerless laptop. I mean, if you're in Starbucks and you're doing something you're not supposed to.
I'm gonna pick the dude who has the hoodie hacker.
Exactly.
The one that you have. Even if just the one, if it's me versus you getting picked.
That's right.
I'm a developer. So you all of a sudden are a hacker because you have a hoodie hacker.
Social engineering tip: always keep a clean laptop.
Yeah. Well, and part of it too, if you are doing social engineering, you want to blend in. You want to be the least memorable person.
Yeah, don't be the dude that's wearing the ones and zeros on his shirt.
Right.
Because that might freak people
with
out.
all of this.
Yeah. Right. You want to be as nondescript, as generic. I don't know, some average looking person with a nondescript laptop that look like everybody else's. Blending in is a big part for social engineering. You want to not be memorable. You're not wearing a fluorescent pink shirt.
Right. Jason Street just uploaded today on Twitter some of his custom clothes.
Oh.
And he has huge pockets sewed in, like a jacket, where he can fit iPads and laptops. And
I saw that, but that's a little bulky. I mean,
you can hide it.
It's a nice jacket, but then they have a big square.
But did you see him when it was already closed and put together?
It was nice. Nice.
I mean, it fit. It worked.
Well, Xavier, there's beer in the fridge, and I'll talk a story real quick if you want to go grab one.
All right, cool.
So, a lot of you had asked about this, and I thought this was a cool article. This is Build an Easy RDP honeypot with a Raspberry Pi 3 to observe the infamous attacks by Bluekeep. and now the gold keep and everything else. So if you're wondering how these researchers find this, it's frequently by setting up honeypots. And these honeypots will allow you to gather credentials, gather data. And this is a pretty good step-by-step for a very reasonable price, basically some free software and a Raspberry Pi. And the free software and Raspberry Pi will get you going on this with Wireshark, TCP Dump, Bro, RDPY, and TCP IC.
Wow, that's a lot.
It's a lot for a Raspberry Pi, but it's actually
Badass.
it's really clever, including some of the setup on this. They have the way to replay your recorded sessions, play kind of man in the middle and proxy the information on it. They go through a lot of depth on what, really basic firewall rules. They do expect you to download the Kali image to get this set up. So it is the Kali image for Raspberry Pi. So that's really cool too. But I'm impressed with all this here. And
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
yeah, it's a nice little setup, pretty clean, easy to do, step by step through here. So I might play with this. Maybe I'll do a video on it because a lot of you have been asking about honeypots. But this is, you expose this, you spin up a Lino, DigitalOcean, some basic little server out in the cloud, and just let it listen. And this is how the security researchers start finding these things and understanding the scale and scope of these botnets as they go, wow, look at all this digital noise going on. Look at all these credentials flying by. I wonder what that is. And yeah, it's really clever. Like I said, all these links will be in the show notes, of course. I'm being better about that.
And from running honeypots, I think I still run a honeypot right now. I need to go check on that. Could be a part of a botnet for all I know.
Right.
But yeah, just from like running honeypots, I notice a lot of the payloads that you get are like droppers.
Yeah.
And they lead to like other interesting things and interesting servers, and that always made me so happy to see.
Yeah, well, several episodes ago we talked about how a security researcher was hacking back and getting passwords because they script kiddies by the database, and they're just using the honeypot and going, hey, look, I wonder if I see where it's coming from. The command and control server is this, so if I try to log back into it, oh look, admin worked, and yeah, so it's kind of fun. You're breaking the law the minute you log back in, but collecting things that attacked your server you set up, that's great research, great learning tool, a lot of fun to play with, and enlightening sometimes.
Yeah, it's very enlightening, actually.
Because you can learn techniques, especially if you set up, there are some more advanced honeypots that allow interaction that make the person think they're in.
Yep.
Yes.
And by doing
like
that...
Kippo.
Yeah. Kippo. And then from there, you can watch what they're doing, and it's a great learning technique. What did they do? You can learn from that. You're going to learn what they're going to attack. You can learn what they're going to do. So it's on my to-do list to do some more in-depth, like how to set up step-by-step honeypots and things like that. But there's a lot of reading you can do. I mean, there's servers out there for it. If you dig around, I do have at least one video on how to set up an SSH honeypot. I haven't looked at that project in a while, but it was a really clever GitHub project that with like a one-click installed an SSH listening and interactive honeypot that logged all the commands per IP, showed like once they logged in what they tried to do. It had a simulated file system. It was all simulated, so it's like their sandbox. They don't know it.
Nice.
Maybe they can figure it out. It wasn't super advanced, but a lot of them aren't checking. They just right away, oh cool, root and password work. So let's just start running all these commands. You can see what they can do. But of course, once the commands quit executing, they usually leave.
Yeah, so I have one that I really like a lot called Teapot, and it is made by T-Mobile, and it has a VoIP honeypot, it has an RDP honeypot, a Telnet honeypot, SSH honeypot. It all runs on a bunch of different Docker containers, and then it has a bunch of cool visualizations.
Yeah, it's using what's the
Oak, Kibana.
Oak and Kibana.
Kibana.
I remember seeing it. It's weird that it's by T-Mobile, but it's not weird about it's T-Mobile.
Right? The T-Mobile guys seem like they're pretty cool, actually. Surprisingly enough. And you know who else seems really cool? Capital One. They got a really interesting group of guys over there working on some fun open source stuff.
Nice.
But yeah, super fun. I wrote a Terraform wrapper for it so that you can just like run Terraform apply, and it does the thing. Yeah,
actually, I'll just show it real quick.
There you go.
This is it's an extensive write up on all the stuff it does, but this is Teapot.
Yeah, it is a whole lot. It is a very interesting architecture. Suricata's on there.
Suricata, Honey Trap,
Cowrie.
Oh, you have a pre-built ISO.
Yep.
Nice.
And you can
That
just
I
like
didn't realize.
fire it up in the VM right here in the office. right?
Yeah.
Really, really.
Well, you know what I'm gonna do
interesting.
my video on? One that has an ISO.
There you go.
It's gonna be the easiest way to set it up.
For sure. I've had this running in AWS, and so they have. Yeah, it's interesting. You'll enjoy
Yeah.
it.
Wow, it's based on 14 Ubuntu. So it's kind of an older. Okay, well, whatever. It's a honeypot.
Yeah, it's a honeypot. So you'll see some interesting things. I like to check out security vendors and plug them up to my honeypot to see like, yo, like I already have all of this intel on what actually happened. Let me see how much you picked up with your
Right.
agent. You get what I'm saying? And that really puts a wrench in a lot of sales engineers because they go, well, I don't is your data correct? And I'm like, well, I got the file right here that was dropped. And it's got like, you know, like, what do you want?
Yeah, no, that's a good thing. I love when you can put a salesperson to the test like that. That's always.
My favorite is it's quick and easy. That is never the case. It is yeah, even if it is quick and easy to get started, like to configure, to maintain long term, I don't think people realize what they get into when they start a vendor relationship. It's an actual relationship.
Definitely.
It takes a lot for sure.
Maybe I'll build if I remember this honeypot.lawrencesystems.com, and that might be fun.
And just have the visualizations there, like public.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be badass.
Yeah. why
Just so
not?
like people can like test their botnet and see if they can take it down.
It'll
If they
be-
cause an outage.
That's
what will you do?
that's between them and line. It's going to be
it'll
on
be
line.
All right, cool.
No. The DNS entry will be there.
There
The
you
server
go.
will not be within this building.
There you
I do
go.
not have the bandwidth to throw
I
it at
just
you
wanted
guys.
to make sure it wasn't like laying a gauntlet down. Like, I paid for business class.
Right.
I got an IP or two.
Yeah, I paid for DDoS detection. Let's see how. Let's test
Let's put it to
that.
the test.
Oh, fun times. All right, let me close all these links and go to the next one.
What do
is
we got
next?
now? Oh yeah, you just talked about
The Komodo one.
yeah. Wow.
This is actually really interesting, and now I can't find this, and maybe you can jog my memory on this. This is the recent story. So someone slipped a vuln into a crypto wallet via NPM package. Then someone else siphoned off 13 million in coins to protect it from thieves. Now this is actually an interesting
yeah.
methodology.
I remember.
And what they did was over here on the Komodo wallet, there was a flaw found in it, and they siphoned off the money themselves, which I think is actually a really kind of neat. Here we go. Here's the blog post I was looking for, or maybe not. Listen, all these links to it, anyways. What they did, and this is actually really clever. If you refresh your memory, this happened around 2016 in a different methodology, where some white hat hackers found out that there was a flaw in a wallet, and they said, "Well, we're going to write a script that takes everybody's money that has this flaw and give it back to them, but we're going to put it in a secure wallet." And that's basically what Komodo did, was run over and put all this. They knew what they found out about the flaw, and then they put it in their own wallet and kept a list. Like, we took all the money from you, we want to give it back, but if we left it there, someone else would have taken it who wouldn't have given it back.
Right.
And there was a group of white hat hackers that had the same problem. They couldn't get in contact with the company that was holding the coin, so they just started siphoning the money with the flaw, which is illegal. But also, they're like, we kept a list. We want to give it all back. We don't know who owns these wallets, but if you own these wallet IDs and you can prove you own it, we'll give you the money back. But the other people who were taking it at the same rate, there was like a race to who could get the money out first. I couldn't find the story, but it was from like 2016. Really interesting concept.
Oh boy, I don't remember that.
That's a touchy.
That's
one.
movie worthy right there. I need to see the movie.
Yeah, I know. It's
You know? Like,
I need to hear Dark Knight Diary about
I
that.
want to see
one.
the other. Oh man, Jack Ricehider would just be like,
I'm gonna reach
and
out
then
to
he
Jack
furiously
Ricehider, like-
typed,
Yeah.
and he went to go, and he checked the wallet, and the wallet was empty, and a rush of blood left his body.
Yeah. And
I love the way he tells the story.
It's
Yeah,
so descriptive.
Man, I put
But-
you right there.
that's essentially what they did, though, is they realized there's a flaw. I'll jump back to it real quick. And they're basically are copying the money back over and keep it to protect it, which is a great idea, because I guess that's better that someone else took it that's willing to give it back than the people who were certainly
So
not.
I gotta walk up to you and be like, yo, I'm Xavier D. Johnson, and yeah, I did have like, $1 billion in crypto coin, bro. Like, I was not trying to pay taxes on it, but thanks, bro. Like,
Right.
dang,
Yeah.
like, can I just get it back? Like, I'd rather pay taxes on it than not have it.
Yeah, so this it's an interesting.
Man, I don't know.
Yeah, protect-
You gotta you gotta dox yourself to get it.
Well, no, they know your Bitcoin. You just have to prove that you own that wallet.
But
They
who
took
is
it
you?
out.
But who is you?
Exactly. That's
Well,
the whole point.
easy.
I could be a Russian.
Well, no,
government.
that's actually. Well, think about it this way: if you have the wallet ID, but I don't have the wallet ID associated with you, you can contact them anonymously and say, I can prove I own this wallet because I'm going to drop a coin in it right now. I'm going to drop some transaction in it to prove I own the wallet.
Ooh.
And they go, oh, okay, you're the owner I'm dealing with. I don't know exactly what their methodology is, but that
That's
would
dangerous. I'm hacking everybody wallet
That's
that I
just
possibly can't. Admin password 123.
Just what marketing
And-
said.
Yeah.
Proving your wallet can equal dangerous game. You're
Yeah.
correct.
Prove your wallet. Yeah, that's scary.
Yeah, and this is why it's scary when you're trying different wallets, trying to figure this out.
Shoosh.
And this is still one of the flaws with cryptocurrency in general.
Yes.
As neat as it is and novel as I like the concept of a decentralized currency in concept, but in practice, really quickly, cryptocurrency people, even the biggest fans of it over the years have gone, yeah, we didn't really solve the problem with money. So
it just became a problem X1.
yeah. And because they didn't have the protections, for example, I keep money in multiple banks right now for my business. That money is insured by the Federal Deposit Insurance Corporation. Right. So if you were to in some way attack my bank, which would be tragic and terrible if they had a security flaw, I wouldn't give it a second thought. Like, my money's insured by the FDIC, so it's taken care of. That's why you keep either assurances or no more than $250,000 in each one of your accounts, because that's the default FDIC insurance. I think so, $250,000. Yeah. So there are assurances on that. That protection does not exist. Clearly, I should say, different companies offered it, but this is the story of Mt. Gox and all the other different coin companies that have come and gone. They did not have adequate protections. They were very new to the industry. They were inventing it. So they, once you're cutting edge, you don't have a playbook. You don't have a best practices guide. You are the best practice guide. You have a lot of challenges in it. This is the overall problem with cryptocurrency as I see it. So and the other problem with cryptocurrency is it didn't solve the transactional problem that we have. When the coin prices got so high, the fractional amount they were charging means it cost more to do a Bitcoin trade at one point in time than it did to buy something on a MasterCard and Visa, which I hate paying the 3% ransom as a business owner. They just get 3% of transactions for their transaction handling. So anytime someone exchanges money with me, this 3% just goes to the transaction system. But Bitcoin became more than 3%. So Steam at one time went from accepting Bitcoin to not accepting it because of the volatility of the currency. They couldn't set the game prices. So it didn't really solve any problems. It created some new ones, but it's still a cool concept. I don't think it's dead, but it's definitely going through a scratch in our head. What are we going to do next phase? And especially with the wallets, these people with no protection. What if you had a bunch of money in it? It's gone. That's it. It's like losing physical dollar bills, man.
The other week I told you it's about $70 million in Bitcoin that's just gone because people lost the address to their wallet.
Yeah, people lose money all the time on it. So it's still a scary thing. And slipping an NPM package, I mean, clever hack, very targeted. They knew what they were doing. And it's going to be that way, especially when it's that much more accessible. When you deal with anything in the banking industry, the banks are much less ever in the news for being hacked, and the reason why, they've been dealing with this for years. I mean, they've been attacked since there was online banking transaction.
They've been attacked since they were moving money on trains.
Yes, they
understand
literally
security and risk.
It's like literally that's the utmost like number one value in most banks, like security and risk. If your security at a bank, you're doing okay. You're doing really okay in life.
Really okay.
Yeah. Imagine being in an environment that's that highly regulated. Sheesh. Man, you gotta have a background check. Like, not one normal background check, like one of them FBI joints where they, like, call your fourth grade teacher, like, so how was he? Did he sit in the front or the back of the class?
And if you're
35, like, man.
And, a great dive into banking history was Frank Abagnale. There was
Catch Me If You Can.
Catch Me If You Can. And Frank Abagnale exploited weaknesses in the trust models that were used at the time in the banking system and the way it worked. He's a brilliant guy, kind of an OG hacker here, because this is, technically that's what he's doing, is modifying the system to work in his favor. And it became very interesting. So the bank has been seeing these attacks long before they were online because they had to do wire transfers and everything else. So they're a much more mature industry for it. So you can hate going, oh no, it's federal money and audit the Fed. I'm cool, audit and all that stuff. The reality is we still have to work on the money system because transactions and business has to flow. So
right, because commerce, bro. Like relax.
Commerce is still a thing.
Like, do you want milk or not? Like,
Yeah, I still got to go store my milk.
Like, do you want milk, beer? Like, you gotta like pick what you want: anarchy or beer. Like, you gotta pick one. Most anarchists just gonna side with beer, bro. Like,
yeah, I like
beer
anarchy,
away.
but beer.
But beer though, have you tried beer?
It's pretty good stuff. Also, just eating, getting a burger,
Right, just having an actual burger.
and not having to figure out, oh crap, the coin system's down. No, like here's a few dollars. If you're in Detroit,
The coin
I
system.
want you just go cash only. Go to the Coney place.
There you go.
Go smash some Conies. My
man.
favorite place to be about 2:30 in the morning.
Except for when it rains.
Oh.
That place it starts to smell like a 200 building. Y'all know what spot I'm talking about. I ain't gonna do them like that. But I love them, but don't go there when it rains.
The place is a little funky. It hasn't been remodeled. Does it ever close? It ain't been closed in 40 years. Like they never shut down.
Never shut it down. And you know what else is really interesting about it?
What?
The chairs there are smaller than the chairs that we're sitting in. Like they have like the people of past time were so small. Like you could tell that the gravitational forces of the earth was not allowing humans to fully grow. Cause I go in there and I'm like, wow, like I'm really big in here.
Well,
Coney Island.
I'm trying to find if anyone hasn't been there. It's the wrong one. This is the wrong one. I gotta find it. But
There
Is
you
that
go.
there? Yep.
Oh, boy, that's how
Now
it
we're
looks
hungry.
today. That's how it looks today.
and it still looks.
Not
Where's
that
that?
one.
Oh, the one next door.
Don't
Yeah,
go to the one next door. I mean, you can. I don't want to be that guy, but just don't.
Wait a minute. I don't know,
Somebody's
man.
playing around with the.
There it is.
There it is.
Yeah,
So
the
the-
gray one.
Go dig into the Detroit history. You have American Coney Island and Lafayette Coney Island. They literally are next door to each other.
Right.
It's a long time competition. That's our tip for today. If you
Right.
come to Detroit,
Go to Lafayette because it's banging.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yep. You've got to go to Lafayette Coney Island.
I'm getting one of them tonight.
I know.
Hey, it's going down. I'm in one of them type of moods. It was sunny outside today. I'm getting me a Coney. God damn me. You ain't
There's-
promised another day in Detroit. You better get you a Coney.
It's a classic. I'm trying to find the interior of this place, like a
Right.
good interior picture.
There it is right there. There it is right there. With the
Oh, right
orange.
there.
the
Oh,
orange
right there.
seats.
There you
It's
go.
only like that's
Look,
it.
that's the spot.
This is today.
That's
this is what
today.
it looks
Look
like
how
right
tiny
now.
it is. It's tiny.
It's tiny. It's
Like,
famous, world
man.
famous, Food Network. Everyone's been there. It's
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna stop talking
All
about Coney
right,
Island.
man. Dude, how they got fat.
How they got fat. On this episode of How They Got Fat,
Xavier dragged his
Lafayette,
friends down.
we went and smashed Conies for like.
Man, hopefully we get fair usage for all of those beautiful Coney pictures.
Right.
you know how YouTube is. No, those are other people Conies. All right.
Well, yeah, Frank works for the FBI. Yeah, Frank serves as a consultant. He went from hacking to a consultant in a pretty famous move there. So
There's
brilliant
a lot of people that do that.
individual.
Sabu did that.
Sabu did that.
The dude from Lovesec who snitched on everybody.
Yeah, working for the FBI now. All right, let's get back to vulnerabilities. Done talking about hot dogs.
Man.
This found could allow remote execution of code root privilege in more than 4.1 million systems. This is XM MTA, which is pretty much
boy.
defaultly loaded everywhere. So they found a flaw in the XM. So XM maintainers acknowledged vulnerability in CVE 2019-10149
Yes.
on June 3rd. Present XM 4.87 through 4.91. Don't really allow any attacker to execute commands as root with no privilege escalation required. Now, the good news is, I don't know how many people run XM as their primary MTA external facing. It's probably a decent amount out there. Most of the time when I see XM, it's internal, used as a mail relay system, not publicly exposed. Generally speaking. I'm not saying there's not exceptions. I didn't do a showdown list.
But even if it's on there, would I be able to, like, if I'm on the system, can I use this for elevation of privilege?
Right, and that's probably where it would happen.
Okay.
And XM is a very lightweight. So your more popular MTAs, SendMail being the
SendMail.
more famous
Yep.
one.
Yeah.
Postfix has been around forever. That's actually what I've used and still have up and running is Postfix. It works great for my personal mail server. But XIM's that kind of lightweight, that kind of, if Mo brought up IoT earlier. A lot of IoT devices, when they got to send out mail, they'll have a small XIM server just to relay the mail out. So that way they can send it. But that usually means if it's running, there's possible some local vulnerabilities in there. And as we know, IoT devices, the S in IoT stands for security.
Not shit.
Yeah, or you notice, the lack of an S anyway.
Internet of shit. Shout out to Jeff Evangelist because he introduced me to the Internet of shit.
Oh, God.
And I was like, man, this is real. You're right, man. I thought it was cool until I talked to you. He set me straight.
So, that's a concern. That's out there. So get patching if you have the ability to patch those systems. But more than likely, there's some buried firmware and it'll never be patched. Right. Good news is, because it only starts in the 4 series, I've seen XM3 on some of the crap. So
there you go.
It's so old, it's not vulnerable.
Yeah, it aged out. That's funny.
Do you have a PO address? So many stickers. Just send it to our addresses on our website.
I do have a PO address, but if I knew it by heart, damn it.
Yes.
I would have to get on the call right now.
Just send things to our addresses on our website, lawrencesystems.com. That's our main office. That's where the studio is located as well.
That's where the studio is located.
Yep.
If you ever get a chance to come here, you gotta.
Stop on by.
Stop by.
We've had people
Try
stop.
some hot sauce.
I've had 2 people from, I think Finland, and another one from Iceland come by.
There you go. Right.
They happen to work in the automotive space, so they were watching. They're fans of the show, and they're like, "Oh, I'm going to Detroit because they are an automotive supplier," and they stopped by, which I thought was really cool. It actually started with where someone's on camera, and one of my guys is like, "Someone's taking a selfie in front of our building. Someone's taking a lot of selfies in front of our building." I'm like, "That's weird." I had no idea it was from YouTube. I'm like, I wasn't putting 2 and 2 together. I'm just like.
Private investigators usually don't get out the van.
Yeah, and the person's like this, and then someone else took the camera, and they're like this, and I'm like, I'm gonna say this is weird.
Yeah, this is officially weird now.
And we have on the front of our building, we have like the printed windows. We can see out, but you can't see in. Right. So they're standing against the window and like taking a picture. So they're very obvious to us, but they don't realize that
we're just standing there.
Yeah, there's like my employees are all sitting there going, "What are they doing?"
Tom's famous. Tom's famous. He's got people just taking pictures outside. Like,
I've had a handful of people stop by.
I would love to have like a live audience like that just laughed at our corny jokes.
At some
point.
I
mean like one that's literally paid to just laugh, just like on Fresh.
I don't want people who are paid.
No, not paid.
I want us to come and laugh with us.
Good laugh track.
Yeah, we need a laugh track.
Good laugh track.
All right, that's the XM, how they got hacked. Wait a minute. What do we got here?
Oh, boy. Oh yeah, yep.
Oh, we're talking about the movies. We got to get to this article here. That's not a movies password update. That's a downgrade. Let's talk about that.
It was really bad.
Go ahead and run through that one because you read it more so than I. I seen it in the list.
Basically, long story short, MJR, right, is the theater. Basically, they put something on their site that says our system has been updated. Existing Premier Rewards members can log into their existing account using the username, which is their email address, and a password, which is their last name with the first letter capitalized. You heard that right. The username is their email address, and the password is their last name with the first letter capitalized. Please call your local MJR theater for immediate assistance.
I don't know who told them to.
What is that? What?
So, good news. They're hopefully hiring a security person soon there.
Oh, my God. Yeah, man.
This is a local theater to us here in, I'll point it at in case you were a local listener.
You know what's interesting? Like, I was hoping that it wasn't the same MJR. And it just was.
MJR, welcome to How They Got Hacked.
Man, yeah, I'm welcome to pull up on you.
Yeah. So we got...
if y'all is vulnerable, what else y'all vulnerable to?
I'm going to watch me a free movie.
I want to go get me the new movies before they even come out off the digital reel.
They have a list of the affected ones that they decided to do this, so whichever one. So the one right, 156 Trenton Road in Southgate.
There you go, right around the corner.
Is walking distance from here. Mm-hmm. In case you're wondering where my building is in reference, because we're in Southgate, Michigan, that's literally, like, I could walk there in about, 12, 15 minutes. Drive there, 2-minute bike ride. So, yeah, I've been there before, but I've never used a rewards thing, so I guess I'm safe from the stupidity that they got going on.
Jeez. Their password. So, like, man, I can't even imagine what the internal automatic generated passwords are for the employees. To, like, punch in, punch out, and get benefits.
They just made themselves a big
Target. Yep.
So let's talk about some more cryptocurrency. We're on that topic still a little bit.
Oh boy.
Cryptocurrency wallet GateHub hacked.
Yep.
10 million worth of Ripple.
Yep.
didn't hear about this
XRP
one.
got lifted. I knew you was gonna like that.
They got him for the
Yeah, I had to
Ripple.
put that in there.
Not the Ripple.
Everybody
Everybody was. "Ooh, I can't wait till my Ripple bubble."
below. Oh
Yeah. Dear valued customers, recently we have been notified by our customers and community members about funds on their XRP Ledger wallets being stolen and immediately started monitoring network activity and conducted an extensive investigation. Although we have not identified any action, omission, or GateHub may have facilitated or allowed this apparent theft to occur, we apologize deeply to our customers for this issue and pledge to get to the bottom of it. At the moment,
there's no getting to the bottom.
yeah. So at the moment, approximately 100 XRP Ledger wallets were compromised. $10
Only
million
100?
worth.
Only 100? I
That's
would
all
have
you
went
need.
Exactly, but I would have had to go for the 500, 1,000. I'd have had to bankrupt the whole system. It would
It's
have
been a
bubbled.
bag 2 years for
It
cryptocurrency.
would have been one person who had all the XRP. Centralized, the new
Yeah.
centralized currency. The X in XRP stand for Xavier. Nah,
It's just a.
Xavier really profiting off this XRP. God damn, that's crazy. I can't believe this. Like, wow. How do you just get 100 ledgers stolen? Like, right out of thin air. Man.
It's a mess. It's a mess for sure. Yeah. Like I said, nothing good's
23
happening.
million Ripple coins. Nearly $9.7 million.
Yes.
And it's already been laundered through exchanges and mixer services.
Of
Yep.
course.
It's
The
gone through a
second
few tumblers
Yeah.
and
Oh boy.
The second
come
it
out
was
well
snatched.
laundered and clean and shiny on the other side.
He's a legitimate coiner now. I got rich off Bitcoin is how his mom's gonna feel. That's nuts.
That guy's gonna disappear.
What? Wouldn't you? What? I would have already been disappeared.
Um,
Oh, that's what we were talking about earlier. The
yeah, this
ransomware
I
costing-
found the article.
There
It
you
was
go.
we had it at the very bottom of our show notes with one in here. So attack costing city 18 million.
There you go.
Yeah, there's that total number we have for them.
Ouch.
Yeah, there's not much else to say. We're not going to dwell on it, but there's 18 million there.
Yeah, we gonna get a letter like, listen, we got spanked enough, okay? We got a whoop it. We get it.
So it escalated from 50,000 to 18 million, or the 18 million is
40,000.
the
It's like
cost of the
40,000.
damage.
The cost
It's
for
costing them 18 million total.
So how much does the hackers want
I
now?
think they
76,000 was all they were asking.
In the beginning,
Yeah.
and how much do they want now?
I think it's over 100. I can't remember.
Oh,
100 million?
Yeah.
we will not
No.
bow down to terrorists.
100,000.
Yeah, 100,000.
They should just pay that 100,000. What you mean not bought on terrorists?
No, that's what the guy said. That's what the mayor said.
Yeah, I feel you,
Oh,
but,
actually-
like, that's not terrorism. That's just like getting off.
I mean,
I
The-
don't have to just pay that.
It's actually a little bit worse. At a press conference this week, City Finance Director Henry Raymond offers some preliminary details of the cost of the city so far. In his estimate, Baltimore has spent $10 million in recovery and forensic expenses, and the city is expected to lose about $8 million in revenue. So that's how they got the $8 million number. And in case you didn't know, if you've never been on a breach investigation, hopefully you never will be unless you're the one doing the billing. You don't want to be part of the other side of it. Right. And it's a scary process, and it's damn expensive. So they've spent $10 million with the forensics company.
Oof.
And that's...
I need to start a forensics company.
Yeah, it's the
That's
forensics.
hard work, though.
It's hard work.
It is.
That's some hard work.
It's I've been sidelined
Mm-hmm.
on an. I was assisting them. I was not the breach company, but I've worked with breach companies in the past to help assess things. We had a client that had an incident, not a managed client, not a client that was following any of our advice. Someone that we just did some IT work for, but we were the closest thing they had to an IT person, so we did have to walk through them with it and deal with the breach team. We did everything to preserve integrity so they could do the logging. But even for a small business, it's like $100,000 something of cost for, I think it was
Wow.
a 10-person office roughly. So
Wow.
and it was just to comply because they had lost personal information and everything else. So it's expensive, and it's less technical than you think. They cloned all the hard drives. There's a lot of boring work. Well, I watched what they did, kind of like so I could watch it firsthand. This is a couple years ago actually.
That's-
They clone everything. They fill out so many forms and paperwork, just paperwork. evidence files, essentially. It's
Yeah.
kind of like, they're doing a whole brief. It's not as technical as pen testing. It's not as technical as security research. It's more like cleaning up after an explosion.
Right.
Put this leg in this bag and this arm in this bag. It's just-
Right.
And clone all the drives in case anyone ever asks. Like, that I know no one ever needed it, but they cloned every single drive in there before they... Because then after that was also wipe the machines and everything else.
Nuke pave.
Nuke and pave, but before you nuke and pave, which a lot of them, we just pulled all the hard drives before you did that and just started replacing all the hard drives with new ones. That way all the hard drives were stacked up and labeled which computers they were in. That way if there was ever any legal action taken later. So it's just a big mess. And it's an expensive mess. Takes a lot of people.
How they had to nuke and pave.
How they had to nuke and pave.
Man.
So, yeah, there's a lot that goes into it. It's a lot of bureaucracy because it's a lot of paperwork. But that's why it's so much money, because it's all, process, procedure, and spending hours there. They had a whole team there for a week just doing all this. It took a long time to clone the drives and research everything and Q&A and create all this paperwork and create like a, template. So it's a mess.
Otto said Baltimore's a running joke with this show. What will happen when they fix it?
Oh, don't worry.
Oh, we'll praise them. We'll have cake.
Look, we'll
pop
have cake.
champagne.
We'll have cake, and don't worry.
When they fix it, Mo's gonna have a beer. They're never gonna fix it.
Plus, it'll always be another hack to make.
Listen, he just told you the forensics team are the people that put the limbs in the bag, not sew the bodies back together. They're just cleaning up and preparing for nuke and pave. There's no fixing it. It's done.
Yeah,
There's
they're
no
buying
fixing it.
new
Yeah,
everything.
new
That's why it's
everything.
costing so much. They're buying new everything.
I would be so disappointed if I was.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
I mean, that's really the only way to go forward from here.
I'm saying I just pay that $100,000 to get my data back just so I can have it.
Nuke and pave.
I guess they're looking at $100,000
I mean,
for data that's probably 2 weeks worth of data because they got some backups back. Yes.
Yeah, a little bit.
It's nuts.
I'm actually pulling up something real quick. It'll be our last little thing we talk about.
Someone will replace Baltimore. That's certainly.
Yeah.
That is for certain. There's always someone.
Right here.
What you
So,
got for us, Tom? Oh boy.
so this is old. I covered this story earlier this year.
Well, for how they got hacked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of commission, how the Oklahoma Department of Security leaked millions of files. And I have a whole video I did on this as well, with a breakdown and debrief from the work from UpGuard. But yeah, this is a giant mess. This is an exposed RC server. So don't worry. Someone else did something stupid, and there's always more to talk about on this show. There will be another city that did something dumb. It's just a matter of digging it out.
Yep.
There's actually been a massive amount of small cities attacked. They just don't make the news because it's scale and scope.
If I was Baltimore, I would spend $10 million on Red Team or to go hack Virginia or something.
Get me out of the news.
Get me out the news.
Get me out of the news for a minute.
The pressure is worth hiring the Red Team.
And the reality is, it's sad because a lot of these small cities, we had cities here in Michigan, but they don't even make a blip in any national news because if a city the size, let's say Southgate, not that I know of, everything's done well there, but if a city of Southgate gets hacked, it's not going to be more than a one-day headline.
Right.
It's a small city with not a
Number
very big
one
population.
suspect, Tom Lawrence, computer guy. Right, the only computer guy in town. They're coming straight here.
Coming straight here. Coming right at me.
Do you have any computer guys nearby? Oh yeah, Tom.
Tom.
There you go.
Yeah, they look for their little business licenses and go, that guy. So, I mean, there's always a lot of these getting out there. Baltimore's just an easy target, and there's a lot of news on it. Obviously, so there's a lot more information. Because the other side of these, because no one digs into them, I mean, if it was my city, I would dig into it and ask a lot of
Right.
Q&A. But that's me. There's not a me in every city where this is happening, so we don't even
Or
know.
maybe,
what
that
happens.
would be you in Southgate, but this is you in Baltimore. It's a huge place where you're like throwing pebbles at
Oh,
some
yeah.
like stone wall, right?
Mhm.
You got something, don't you, Mo?
Yeah, one piece that we didn't touch on, Quest
Yeah.
Diagnostics, one of the
Quest.
biggest blood, I guess, collection places.
Yep. They do blood draws.
Yes.
12
Plasma
million
services.
people's data.
But not only do they do that, they also do like urine analysis for when you get a new job, and they're like a clinic for like urgent care and ER. So that's
This
a
is-
lot of
That's a lot of data.
info exposed in a single data breach.
12 million?
Do we all get paid now? Do it
Well,
right.
and there's a little bit more story. So that more than 12 million people affected by the latest medical data breach whose patients are now vulnerable. It was specifically their collections company that they hand over the data to. The collections company got breached. So that's why it's actually only 12 million. And this is so here's how you know if you're affected.
only.
Did you owe money?
Oh boy.
Were they hounding you for payment and you maybe didn't pay? They probably hand you over to a collections company. That collections company got breached. So they
so
didn't.
what? 12 million people owe Quest money?
Yeah.
Wow.
Dude,
The state-
that's a whole nother problem.
It's like,
Yeah.
just if they all
Quest,
owe
nah.
$1.
I don't even feel bad for Quest anymore.
No, and so it's indirectly Quest was breached. It was actually the company there. This is also where things get a little bit interesting, and it gives you some insight
I was
into.
trying to wipe their debt. It was like, damn it! All I could do is read the stuff.
It made me wonder because if there's some motivation for a hacker, it's the fact that one of the number one reasons in America to go bankrupt is from medical bills. That is still one of our top reasons
Right.
for bankruptcy.
Yes.
Is because you got sick. So that is I mean, come on. We literally had one of the most popular TV series ever was about a guy who gets cancer and sells meth to pay for his cancer treatment. I mean, Breaking Bad was amazing.
Yes.
But
Interesting.
I like it because people from Europe going, well, why wouldn't he just go and get health care? I'm like, whoa, you don't understand America, right? This is why
Right.
this TV show works. This TV show doesn't work in other countries.
Right.
So some motivated hacker who perhaps lost a family member or had a family member and lost everything from bankruptcy
Definitely.
could have been the motivation for it. I kind of wondered that on the other side, like, was that the motivation for this? Like, is that why they got hacked? Or like,
Maybe.
they hounded my poor dad. He owed money for blood tests and he had cancer and he died. And now we're faced with all this debt and bankruptcy. I lost everything. Screw you guys! I'm going after you. Like,
They may have
it's
been
sad,
easy
but
targets since they've been breached before. 2.5 years ago,
Yep.
hackers stole 34,000 customers' accounts.
yeah. Will anyone really want money on poor information on poor people? That's a good. If there's a group of social security numbers that don't want to really fraud, it's people that owe money. They're
I
the
don't know,
worst
because
people.
now I can just call you and say I'm Quest Diagnostics and any information.
But you ain't giving them money. I ain't giving you money either.
I don't know. Maybe I'm willing to talk you down and then giving me $150 on that $10,000 bill.
Hey.
And now I'm just out here getting these 150s from. What happens when you get $150 from 10,000 people? Ooh.
I don't know. Well,
do that
I mean-
number. Do that number.
They may not be poor. They may just
They
not
may
want to
not be
pay
paying.
Quest. That's like,
Yeah.
no.
Hey, it's an
they're not
interesting
poor.
angle on that. So I think it's the last story. Mo, we need to know your movie. What's the movie
What's your movie
suggestion?
for the week?
Ooh.
It's that time of day where the movie gotta play.
I can't think of any hacker movies. I
What?
can't think of any hacker movies. I can't. But if you guys like to see an interesting horror movie, you can check out Martyrs. I'm going to put it's a French film. Don't watch the
How do you
English.
spell it?
I'm going to put it in a. Do not watch the English version. Do not watch the new American version. Watch the French version. Nah, I can't. We all seen Swordfish.
Good old swordfish.
Watch Martyrs and let me know what you guys think. You know, when you want to take a break from tech, we all do this all day. Sometimes you just want to take your mind off of the tech for a minute. So check out Martyrs and you guys let me know what you think.
I'm trying to find. It's 13 in French. He's mentioned French. Where the hell does that word go? 13 French movie. Whoops. Trying to find it on there. I have another movie suggestion. I haven't watched it in a long time. What is that movie? It's like 13 Trombetti. Ah, there we go. This movie. Is this the American one or the French one?
I got a movie for you guys. You should watch Sneakers.
Boy, I haven't seen that in a long time.
That's an awesome movie.
Martyrs. The 2008 version, not the American 2016 version.
No.
That version is horrible.
I don't know. I don't speak French. I say Trombetti, but I know it's Tasmetti. It's French for 13, so it's 1313.
Mm-hmm.
Have you guys ever seen this movie?
I've never seen it.
So, this movie is very, very dark, very, very interesting. They tried to do an American remake. Don't ever even consider watching it. Don't watch that. But this is from the French one. Basically, the premise is everyone goes into a room and they all stand in a circle. And there's a gun to the back of everyone's head in a circle. And rich people bet on them. to determine which one goes off. It's Russian roulette. There's only one bullet in each gun.
Okay.
And maybe it goes off, maybe it doesn't. You start with 13 people, and eventually there's one, and you win all the money.
Oh,
It is
boy.
one of the most intense, deep, dark, not too long of a movie, and boy, if you want to, it's another one of those mind benders of everything that's going on. And some people lose it. Some people you hear click. Sometimes you hear a bang, and or sometimes you hear several bangs because they all do it at the same time. Everyone stands in a circle, and the circle keeps getting smaller. So it's one of those I like mess with your head movies like that. It's
Yeah, I do too. So I'm gonna check out that movie. You guys check out Martyrs.
And check out Sneakers.
Sneakers.
Man, I love that movie.
So the Anonymous documentary. I watched that too.
Yeah.
Actually, you know,
Yeah, I've seen that a few times.
hacker movie. Did you guys see AFK? The story of the Pirate Bay.
No.
That's
I
really.
did. I have seen
That's
it. I
that's
have
good.
seen
I like that one a lot. So
Nice.
there's another one. We had a few. We're gonna run out eventually, so we gotta have to watch more
We gotta
movies.
hedge them. We gotta hedge them. You know?
I'll put
Can't give them
I'll
all.
put some more in the show notes.
Oh,
for
no,
you.
Yeah.
you can't give them all.
We got
okay,
next
just
week's show
one- just
notes.
one.
Next week's show
Okay.
notes.
We
Okay.
gotta spoon feed y'all, man. We don't want y'all to spit up.
Do androids dream of electric sheep?
Oh boy.
Yes.
Good question.
I'm familiar.
Yes, they do.
I know what they're talking about. So
They
that's
do
from another
dream of
movie. We'll talk about that movie next time.
They do dream of electric
A
sheep.
little spinny button. We stop it from spinning, and where you end the live stream.
Y'all ready for me to end the stream?
Yep.